All right, Scarlett, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
I hope you've had a good day so far.
It was okay. Now I have my weekend and I'm happy.
It's good to know. Anyways, thank you for applying. We're really excited to have you on. I think your application was very interesting. So there's a lot
Thank
to
you.
talk about right there.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so let's start off with the most basic question. How did you get into fairy tale?
A friend told me about the manga and I read before Rave Master. So I was totally interested to know how fairy tale is and I began to read fairy tale I think in 2007.
Oh, so you
Yeah, and
were
since then.
one of the older fans for sure.
Yeah, I'm a fan even before they wanted to make the anime, and I know Hiro Mashima thanks to Rave Master.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Most of the people I know who are fans of Rave Master read it after Fairy Tale or in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I read it before. I don't think I read it till the end before I know about Fairy Tale, but that was more the problems that in Germany we didn't say made a hiatus with Rave Master.
Which one do you prefer between the anime and the manga?
I love the manga more. I have to say, I didn't watch most of the anime because I'm more a reader, so I love to read more mangas than watching animes. And I have to say, in the manga, I like the characters more, the atmosphere too.
Yeah, I think that's very understandable. They're also different mediums, so some people just like one and they don't really like the other. Let's talk about Fairy Tale in particular. What
Yeah.
is the thing about it which you like the most?
I like the most different kind of characters, and I have to say, Fairy Tail is one of the few mangas, or more the shonen mangas, which have really, really awesome female characters. In the most of the shonen mangas, for me, the female characters are more in the support role. And I mean, look at Mirror Chain, look at Ersa, Minerva, they are not a support role. They are the leading characters for fights.
Yeah, that's definitely something I hear a lot about Fairy Tale, that the women are allowed to step into the spotlight and they don't have to take a backseat to someone like Natsu, who is, for all intents and purposes, the dramatic main character. Whereas with shows like Naruto or Bleach, that's exactly what happens. Other characters get sidelined for Naruto or for Ichigo or for whatever other character, really.
Exactly this. And all of the characters have really a character and are not only, yeah, someone who is there. And I like almost every character in Fairy Tail, and this is really, really rare.
So, who's your favorite character, if you have one particular character that you like the most?
I really have to say Lucy. Lucy is not the typical strong character, but she is doing everything for her friends. And she is doing more even that she can do with her power. She is strong, independent, and she is yeah, intelligent.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think is unique about her, that her abilities don't lie in the pure physical strength or magic ability. It's more about how she gathers information and uses it to help everybody else.
Yeah, and Sanji can help a lot. I mean, you can see it so often, like in Tartaros or at the end. She's not only a character who is on the sideline. She is sometimes she is on the front, and even if she knows that she isn't so strong like the others, she's doing everything.
So, among the other fairy tale characters, who would you say is your least favorite?
Oh, this is complicated. Uh, yeah, so Dragon Agnotula. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
so my
Acnologia.
favorite. Yeah, and I can't. It's some characters you don't know so much. I can't say if I like them or not.
So, with Acnologia, is it more because he's the villain or some aspect of his personality which you don't like?
I don't like his personality. I can't say why. I don't like him.
Yeah, that's okay. But as a general rule, Fairy Tail has had a lot of villains, some of them good, some of them not so good. It's a mixed bag overall, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, there's been a lot of different stories with those different villains. So among the different story arcs, which one would you say is your favorite story arc?
My favorite is Tartarus. Yeah, I really cried because of Aquarius or Ignil or with Grace Farfa, so it was really, really depressing sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the story arcs where everybody was experiencing their own emotional turmoil.
Yeah, so many sad scenes. But I have to say, what I loved the most was a scene with Lucy and Aquarius. It was sad, but so I would say wonderful. And Levi and Gachil when Levi helped him.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you first started reading Fairy Tale, what was it that interested you the most?
The magic and the guild. It was the first time I read a manga with something like a guild and the different kind of magics. I mean, I love fantasy, I love magicians or witches, and this was so differently to everything I read before.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the first that I was aware of that used those themes. I think it's a little bit more common these days, but it's also been a long time since Fairy Tale came out. So there's probably been a little bit of influence in that regard.
Yeah, it's every time the same. When something
Yeah.
is popular, you see it in the next anime seasons, you see it so much.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's why we have so many stories these days in anime about traveling to a different world or about a video game.
Yeah, or be rebirth in a Otome game.
Yeah, that too. But I'm just curious because, you say Tartarus was your favorite, but you've been reading for quite a while. So what's your least favorite story arc in the series?
Oh, now I have to think about it again. Hmm. Now I have really to think about all the arcs. I would even say one of the first arcs, this with the lullaby flute. With the
Hmm.
lullaby flute, it's not so mine.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand. I mean, it's a very early arc. It's pretty small, and it's really just introductory. There's nothing really going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's this. It's more introduction for Gray and Ersa.
Yeah, you're really just setting up future dynamics with all the characters.
Yeah, I mean it was in the beginning, and you really can see how much Fairy Tail changes, uh, the artworks, how he write everything,
If you look back to the earliest chapters, you'll see that a lot of the main characters don't really change that much, but some of them definitely do. I think the biggest difference is Happy. He looks totally
yeah.
different in the beginning compared to how he looks near the end
In the beginning, it really looks like Rave Master.
in terms of style.
Yeah, totally. In terms of
Yeah,
style,
I think I
totally.
agree.
But I have to say, what I don't like in the new art is that the women have so much boobs. In the beginning, it wasn't so big, but it's a
I
tip.
think that there are a lot of people who would agree with you.
Yeah, but it's so typical. When I look at One Piece, for example, it's so normal, sadly.
Yeah, that's definitely true as well. But, there is always some art evolution. In the beginning, it's definitely more energetic and cartoonish, and it does try to get a little bit more serious and crisp later on. But there's obviously plenty of fan service that tends to detract from that quality. How do you feel about that? Because, there's obviously a lot of people who don't mind it for one reason or the other, but there's obviously the other set of fans who really don't like it and wish it would just stop. So, how do you feel about that?
I have to say sometimes it was too much fan service. I can say sometimes it was okay for me, like in Tartaros when Mira Jane was naked, or when Ersa sometimes fighting without clothes because it's their character. But sometimes it was too much that every time their clothes are completely destroyed or they have some fan service where you can see everything. It depends for me on the scene.
Yeah, that's definitely where I lie as well. I think it can be okay in moderation, but he definitely goes too far. There's one particular that I remember where Lucy was nearly eaten by the dragon, but then I was, thrown away and flew about 5 miles completely naked and then landed on Natsu.
Exactly this. This was one of the awful versions.
Definitely. But, it's obvious it happens in a lot of manga. So I'm curious on that front, um, how do you feel that Fairy Tale compares to Rave Master? Because you said you read Rave Master first.
I have to say, Rave Master is my favorite manga. I really have to say, I love the story more because what I didn't like at the end from Fairy Tale was that nobody died. Every time say it is you was thinking someone is dying, and then in the next chapter he or she is alive again. And in Rave Master they are really dying. And I really cried more at Rave Master. It was more dramatic. I love that Haru is really serious, not like Natsu.
Yeah, that's definitely something I hear about Fairy Tale a lot. All the fake out deaths or the sudden resurrections or the idea that they are dead but suddenly they are alive for reasons that really shouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. I discussed the last chapters every week on Twitter with friends. And when Makarov died, I was like, I will believe it only when the manga ends. And I was so right. And that was
Yeah.
something in Rave Master, the people died. And I mean, two favorite characters died. I was really crying because of Reina and Zeke. I really cried.
Oh yeah, those were two of the best parts of the series in terms of quality. Obviously, it was sad.
Yes. So, yeah, like I said, I know a few people who read Rave Master first, and we all are thinking the same. It's better than Fairy Tale.
Honestly, I'm inclined to agree with you very much. But, that's one of his other manga. Let's talk about some others. What
Yeah,
other anime and manga are you interested in?
right now,
In general?
in general, one of my favorite anime mangas are Slayers, if you know it.
No, I actually have never read it or seen it. So if you want to give everybody a brief summary.
Slayers is about Lena Inverse, and magician, and you can say Slayers is making fun about many typical anime things like big boobs, big eyes, or something like that. It's comedy, but at the same time, it has its own story and a really complicated world building. And it's really old. I mean, it's from a novel, from a Japanese novel with over 50 volumes.
So it's been going on for a while, has it?
Yeah, I mean, it was my first anime I watched in Japanese with German sub. And this
Hmm.
was, I think, in 2002. And I mean, it's even older. It's from the
Yeah, that
90s.
is pretty old.
It's from the 90s, so.
Yeah. Is it still going on today?
I no, I don't think so. I think there are a few mangas who aren't finished, but I'm not so sure. It has four or five seasons, many movies, and like I said, a finished novel with over 50 novels.
Yeah, well, it does sound like it's pretty long.
It is.
But are there any others that you're interested?
Right now in Fate. I like Fate Stay Night. Right now I'm watching Fate Grand Order. Yeah,
Mhm.
Shakugan no Shana. Um, yeah, I would say those are my favorites. And again, one of the 90s, Euro Tripper.
I haven't heard of that one. What is that one about?
In the 90s, they made a lot of animes to novels, to European novels. And it's a novel or it's an anime about a group of teenagers who were transported to a world with dinosaurs.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really old, but it's really great.
Well, you know what? Thanks for these summaries. I might have to look some of them up myself.
Good.
So, what originally got you interested in anime and manga?
Oh, no, we had in Germany at free TV animes. The old animes like Sailor Moon, Captain Tsubasa, Pokemon, Digimon, and finally in my teenager years we had some mangas in our bookstores. Yeah, and so it began.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be how it began in a lot of countries, that it started with the TV shows, especially the ones that were for younger kids. And then as everybody was a teenager, you start reading the manga and you get like Bleach and One Piece and Naruto volumes, and then you expand to other stories.
Yeah, I think in Germany we began more with Cardcaptor Sakura, really older mangas.
Yeah, no, I used to watch that was when I was a kid too. It was a pretty big thing when I was like 10, maybe.
Yeah, we had I had some problem with my small towns that we had a long time no anime mangas in the bookstores. But now I know some good comic shops.
Are they still in the small town, or have you moved out?
I was for a few years I lived in Nuremberg, and they have a really big comic manga stores there. But now I'm living again there where I
Mhm.
lived in my childhood. But we have the internet. We can buy everything.
That is true. The internet definitely has connected a lot of people for those more niche hobbies. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do on the internet when it comes to anime and manga?
How do you mean?
Fairy tale fan art or fan fiction or cosplay or whatever.
Ah, okay, cosplay. I'm a cosplayer since 2006.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, and I was the first fairy tale cosplayer in Germany.
You were the first.
I was the first.
Okay, well, we're making history right here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Which character were you back then?
Lucy, her
That
first
was your very
version.
first?
Yeah, it was my very first, and I made over 20 versions from her.
20.
I think so, 20 could be even more.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, she has some really easy outfits, so
Yeah, the first one that I'm thinking of is the white and blue one, and that is pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Which other characters have you done?
From Fairy Tale, I made how is her name again? The other celestial spirit mage, Lilica.
Oh, yes, Karen Lilica,
Karen, yeah, Karen. I made
the one
it
with green
with
hair.
yes. I was so annoyed when I saw it that she has green hair.
Did you have to buy a wig for that?
Yeah, I had for Lucy a wig too, so I don't like to dye my hair blonde.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but I have black hair. It would be much harder for me.
Yeah, I have normally blonde hair, but I like to have more red or violet.
Well, Lucy is a very bright yellow blonde, so you would still have to put some time into it.
Yeah, that's the reason I made every time the manga version because her hair wasn't so bright in the manga, and sometimes I liked the manga versions more. Yeah, I was sometimes a little bit sad when I saw that my favorite versions from the manga didn't get a colored version in the anime.
Which ones were those?
Um, which one was it? For example, I made Lucy Ashley, the Aedelas version,
Mm-hmm.
but the manga version.
Oh, okay. Well, the anime was definitely censoring that more, but I still think that's interesting that you were that committed to making this many different outfits for one character. I actually don't know any other people who've done that, so props to you. That's really cool.
Thank you. But like I said, her outfits were some were really easy, and I liked it because they were easy, but had some special things like the boots or cuffs. They had every time something on Lucy's outfits were a little bit special.
Yes, well, anime and manga boobs are not something anybody can replicate in real life, so you just have to do the best you can with what you've got.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, what characters from different manga and anime have you cosplayed as?
Um, Other characters I cosplay a lot. In the past, I cosplayed a lot Nami, but not so
Mhm.
much anymore. Rin from Fate. Oh, anime. Now I have to think about because right now I'm cosplaying more from comics or Disney.
So, like comics meaning Marvel and DC?
Yes, and even from Witchblade. Yeah, I cosplayed Sarah from Witchblade. She's one of my favorite characters. From Marvel, Rogue and Psylocke and Magik from the
Mhm.
X-Men. Yeah.
I am a big comic book fan, so that's great to hear.
Yeah, I'm cosplaying even from Zenescope Comics, if you know.
No, I'm
Or
definitely more Marvel DC.
okay. Yeah, but I'm really a X-Men fan.
You know what? The X-Men have a lot of great costumes.
Yeah. I made a few different versions from Psylocke and Rogue.
Are you excited for some movies to come out?
I hope once I make the next X-Men movies that Rogue will be Rogue and not such a emo girl.
That would be nice. They definitely could have done her better in the original movies.
Yeah, every character was so out of character, so I'm happy that it's now in the hand of Disney, but I'm a little bit scared if they can do it right.
Well, I thought Professor Xavier was okay,
Yeah,
but obviously now that they're with Disney, there's definitely a chance for them to be done differently, get some different people to do it, and you can probably manage it. I mean, they've done most of the Marvel characters pretty well so far.
yeah, so I hope really it will be good.
I hope so too. I mean, I didn't think that they would be able to do Thor correctly, but they got it pretty good.
Oh yeah, he is so great as Thor.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think anyone else could have done that. To me, Chris Hemsworth as Thor is as good or better than Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Yeah, they were really
But
right with their actors.
yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a whole process to that, and the writers are obviously very important to that. But they seem to be doing pretty well so far.
But I think we have to wait a little bit for
Oh yeah, I
X-Men.
mean, there's the licensing deal was just last year, so it's definitely going to be a while.
Yeah, right now I'm a little bit, yeah, with DC, DC can learn a lot.
Oh, I agree. I am also a big DC fan, and their movies have almost offended me by being so bad.
Yeah, I'm not so the DC fan, but my favorite movie is Wonder Woman, and the others
Mhm.
are like the most I don't like. The others are like it's okay.
I thought Wonder Woman was fine. I think Shazam was pretty good.
No, I
The
didn't watch
rest,
it.
Shazam is actually pretty decent. I think it took some cues from Marvel's formula, did some of the things right, and it seemed to be fine. But there's definitely room for some improvement. The obvious biggest failure is the 2011 Green Lantern movie. That one makes me mad.
I forgot everything about this movie. Everything.
I used to have Green Lantern comics when I was a kid. I watched him on TV in the old Justice League cartoon. That movie is an abomination, but they might be able to manage it one day. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, same,
Their
fingers
TV shows are
crossed.
okay.
I have the biggest problem with DC that they have so many different universes for the movies and the TV series.
Not anymore. Have you seen Crisis on Infinite Earths from the TV shows?
No,
I think it will resolve a lot of the problems you had with your different universes issue.
good, good to know.
But it's obviously a heavy investment one way or the other. Marvel definitely did itself a benefit by having shows like The Defenders take place wherever they were doing so that you know while Daredevil is doing his thing, Iron Man is doing this or whoever.
Yeah, I mean, DC had tried to make the same like Marvel, but Marvel invested so much time, and DC tried it too fast.
That's true. Marvel definitely paid their dues early and their investment paid off.
Yeah.
DC just tried to go for what I call the day trading program, if you're familiar with stock investment, and
Yeah.
they got shortchanged very heavily. But the future can always bring something better, so I guess we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, we will see.
So, anyways, before we close this off, I'd just like to ask, is there anything you want to talk about?
Oh, not so sure. I have to say I would love to meet more fairy tale cosplayers and fans from other countries. But
Hmm.
sadly, it's so difficult to go and expensive to go in other countries.
That is true.
And I'm a little bit curious how long the new 100 Years Quest fairy tale series will go. I mean, I like it that they make it, and it's that Mashima make a new fairy tale series, but I'm a little bit scared that it will be the same like with Bleach and Naruto, that someday you will thinking, oh, let it finish finally.
I think that's a fair thing to worry about. The pacing definitely does seem to be faster than the regular series was, so we don't know how long it will last. But I guess that's something we just have to see as it unfolds.
Yes, there were a few questions from the normal series they never answered.
Well, now is their chance.
I want to know more about celestial spirit mages. I mean, they have to be special, or like how yeah, why has the Hatfilia family so much to do with the time travel?
Well, we're only about 50 chapters into the series, so there's definitely chances to see more. But I agree that, and I think a lot of fans agree with you too, that there are definitely unanswered questions that we want to know more about.
Yeah, exactly. Now with the new dragon eaters or dragon slayers, how you can say it.
You can say both.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's everything, then Scarlett, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate your time. How can other fairy tale fans get to know you better?
On Twitter, my name is Scarlet's Flame, or on Instagram or Facebook. Facebook Scarlet Flame Cosplay, and Instagram Scarlet Rogue.
That's excellent. So we can definitely give everybody your contact information in case anyone wants to check out what you've done so far and maybe even pick up some tips.
Yeah, sure. Everyone can ask me everything about my costumes.
So thank you for your time. This is really what the Fairy Tale Wiki's Twitter Talk project is all about, is getting to know the fans and understanding, what do they like about the series and what do they want to get out of it as well.
You're welcome.
All right, well, anyways, the viewers, thank you for tuning in as well. I hope you all have a great day. And until then, take care.
Thank you. Take care too.